So you hear people talk about fighters and consistency. So what does it mean for a fighter to be consistent? Well, let's take a look at that. Now, there are a number of different ways that you could consider a fighter to be consistent. But the definition of it that we're going to look at is going to be based off of how many unique cards there are in the deck. Now, as you know, the standard size deck for unmatched fighters is 30. There are some that have more and some that have less, but most of them have 30. And with the exception of exactly one fighter, nobody has 30 unique cards. There will be a number of the cards in there that there will be multiple copies of. So exactly how many cards there are in the deck is what we're going to be looking at for consistency. Now, you would think that looking at unique cards that this would be a pretty simple number to grab. Just count how many unique cards there are in there. Well, there are some that make it a little bit different to figure out exactly how many they have. There are a number of fighters that have kind of a set of cards in there that they're all unique, but they kind of fall into the same function. We're going to be looking at Sinbad with his voyages and Bruce Lee with his Jeet Kune Do cards. There's some others in there that do this as well. We're going to make multiple different lists here because we're going to use spreadsheets again to give us some numbers. Just the raw number of unique cards. We're going to have the unique cards if we were to consider all of cards of kind of a subset in there to be one unique card, like the Voyages and the Jeets. There's also some fighters that have a different number of cards, a few of them that have less and a few that have more than 30. So we're going to do a list with them just with the number of cards they have, and then we're going to have one that will kind of average it out to what it would be if they have 30 but keep the same ratio on there. And then there's still a few others that get a little complicated. We're going to run into the thing that we have with Buffy and Geralt, that they both have more cards than what you can actually play with in a game, and that is because Geralt has the cards that you choose some of those and put them in the deck, and Buffy has two different sidekicks that have different cards for them. I've decided to go ahead and go with the number of cards that they will have in their deck when you're actually playing and not counting the unique cards that won't be played, because Buffy has 2 unique cards that won't go into the deck. Geralt has 3. Since we're looking at this as being something when you're playing, you're never going to play with all of those, so we're not going to count those. All right, so we're going to look at this here, and this is going to give us the average number of cards that you will have in each unique deck. Now, I have it with just the total with the series averaged at the 30 and averaged at the 30 with the series, and then also excluding Deadpool, because Deadpool is that deck that has 30 unique cards, and throwing him in there skews the numbers a bit. So I've had one that's basically just removed him from the numbers. And as you can see, we're looking at the average number of unique cards in a deck being somewhere between 11.8 and 12.5. All but one of these giving you more than 12. So somewhere between 12 and 12 and a half is generally going to be the average number of cards. And as we will start off with here, we're going to have just alphabetically. This is going to be every fighter up through Stars and Stripes. So we're going to go ahead and just sort these one at a time here and look at the different lists here. Going into the least consistent here, we're going to see Deadpool is going to be at the bottom of this all the time because he has 30 unique cards. The worst that is not Deadpool is Bruce Lee with 17 unique cards. And he does have the 6 Jeet Kune Do cards that are in there. So that will change his numbers a bit when we look at this differently. Sinbad is there with 16, but once again, he has 7 of the Voyage cards. It's going to give us King Arthur here. That's going to be the worst at 16 because he doesn't have any sets. King Arthur has a number of one-off cards in there. I think he has 4 cards that are one-offs, and so that's really skewing his number pretty high there. We can see some of the others here. Black Widow having a lot there. Alice being pretty high. Then we start going into 14s that there are a few of. Quite a few 13s. We'll see a lot of 12s. This is going to be kind of your average number. Number of 11s there. And then we'll get up to these here. We have Krang and Elektra at 10 and Daredevil at 8. Now, of course, Daredevil and Elektra don't have 30 cards in the deck, and so that is going to, they have a smaller deck, so the lower number of unique cards kind of makes sense. That gives us Krang at 10, who is going to be pretty much the most consistent there, just off of raw numbers there. Now, if we want to take those cards that are in a series or in a kind of a subset, and we'll go ahead and look at the characters that have those. Sinbad has the 7 voyages, Bruce Lee with the 6 Jeets, Black Widow with the 5 missions. These next 3 here are a little, you could argue if they are a set or not. Dr. Sadler has the little group of one-off versatile cards. Donatello's 3 inventions could be considered one, and all of Alice's attack cards are unique, and you could consider those separate. Just for the sake of getting us some different numbers, I've gone ahead and grouped those as sets there. So let's go ahead and sort this out now. So we'll take a look at these over here. We're going to start off with, of course, Deadpool and King Arthur there are still going to be at the bottom. We'll then get into the ones that have 14, which will be Ms. Marvel and Invisible Man. As we go up here, we'll see that Alice will move quite a bit because she moves from 15 to 13. Dr. Sattler and Donatello both moved to 12. Bruce Lee has also moved to 12. Sinbad actually doing this here moves up to 10 when you group all of his Jeets together as one kind of subset of cards there. So that's now giving us Sinbad, Krang, Elektra at 10, and Daredevil at 8. Now let's go ahead and go back to our unique card list there, and we're going to take a look at just averaging out the decks, because we've got 2 up here, Daredevil and Elektra, that have more than or have less than 30 cards. And we have Black Widow, who has more than 30 cards. So we need to go ahead and do one that averages this out to 30. Krang has taken the top spot. Daredevil is still up here pretty high, and that's because he averages out to 10.9 and manages to get just below 11 and manages to beat all these 11s out just barely. He essentially moves into 11. Some others here, Black Widow goes from 15 to 14 and a half, so just gets a slight boost, gets above the 15s, but not quite into the 14s. And Elektra takes a huge drop, going from 10 all the way down to 15. So a massive drop for her when you take the size of the deck into consideration. Well, now let's go ahead and do both of these. We're going to go ahead and average it out to 30, and we're going to consider all of the cards of the same type to be one unique set there. So to go down here to our worst ones, we're going to see that this isn't changing a whole lot here. We have Deadpool, King Arthur, Elektra, Ms. Marvel, Invisible Man are still down there at the bottom. They haven't really moved out of that spot a whole lot. We now look at our top ones, and we see some things have changed again here. Okay, we have our 11s that were all there. We have Daredevil, who's still at 10.9. Black Widow has moved to 10.6. So she's just a little bit better than Daredevil. That's coming from 2 things helping her out. The 5 mission cards there, bringing her down a bit, and also the fact that she has 31 cards in the deck, also bring that average down slightly. which still leaves Sinbad and Krang up there at the top at 10. So yeah, a number of different ways of looking at this here. Which of these four numbers here do you think is the most accurate there? Is it going to be just the raw number of unique cards, or is there value to these other ones here? So if you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up and a like. You can go down to the comments section and let me know what you think down there. And you can also subscribe to my channel. Make sure you catch all the videos that I post so you don't miss anything. This is Jeremy with Poindexter G, and we'll see you around next time.